If two souls are genuinely destined to unite, one unmistakable pattern always emerges first. No matter how mismatched their worlds seem or how random their encounter appears, this single truth arrives before anything else. Most assume destiny feels gentle and enchanting from the outset. They picture it delivering immediate ease, effortless affection, and the certainty that every piece has clicked perfectly into position. They envision two strangers locking eyes, smiling, and instantly sensing, this is the one. But authentic destiny never operates that way. True destiny slips in silently, then rattles your entire existence. It rarely offers calm at the start. It delivers upheaval. When two people are truly bound for each other, the universe refuses to shove them together quickly. Instead, it manufactures separation. It yanks them in opposite directions, tests their deepest convictions, and compels them to confront their own shadows. It shatters illusions they never realized were holding them captive. And this is never punishment. This is groundwork. Because destined partners cannot merge until both have been fundamentally transformed. If two people are honestly fated to share a life, one recurring event almost inevitably unfolds. Countless believe destiny arrives wrapped in pure bliss. They picture two hearts colliding, every obstacle dissolving, and existence suddenly turning seamless and light. Yet genuine destiny seldom enters so softly. Authentic destiny frequently begins by unsettling your reality. When two souls are meant for one another, the cosmos does not rush them toward romance. It deliberately creates distance. It dismantles their misguided assumptions, confronts their unrealistic hopes, and rebuilds them as separate individuals. This sequence repeats relentlessly, and that is the one constant that never fails. People routinely misinterpret the nature of fated love. They expect it to feel cozy and secure right away, like a warm shelter free from pain. But fated love almost never opens with comfort. It opens with recognition. The earliest clue of a profound bond is not tranquility, it is recognition. You encounter someone and an inner part of you stirs before your brain can process why. You might not feel relaxed. You might not feel safe. You might not even feel certain about them. Yet you feel truly seen in a manner that unsettles you deeply. It is as though they detect pieces of you that you habitually conceal, even from your own reflection. This can confuse you because society trains us to expect love to feel soothing and affirming, but destiny frequently feels uneasy at first. That unease rarely signals incompatibility. More often it signals the reverse. It reveals that they are reflecting aspects of you that you have long dodged. They echo your insecurities, your scars, and your unresolved inner labor. They look past the polished mask you wear for the world and peer into hidden layers, and that exposure can feel dangerous. That explains why fated bonds often feel electric rather than effortless. They spark awareness long before they offer intimacy. This also explains why people truly meant to end up together seldom remain side by side at the beginning. If two individuals are sincerely fated for a shared tomorrow, existence nearly always divides them early. This division is never random. It serves precise purposes. One may still carry lingering emotional wounds. One may fear vulnerability and openness. One may not yet grasp their own value. One may give love from a place of scarcity rather than fullness. Sometimes both remain incomplete. And incomplete people, no matter how well-meaning, can wound each other profoundly. So destiny intervenes and enforces space. It whispers, not now. It understands that premature union would fracture what has the potential to become truly significant. The separation, however agonizing, it is never cruelty, it is cultivation. When fated individuals are parted, the grief feels unlike typical heartbreak. It blends sorrow with bewilderment. It feels like losing your internal compass. You do not merely miss their presence. You feel a void within your own being. This occurs because fated bonds transcend ego. They link to evolution. When such a person exits your world, it drives you inward. It compels you to confront long-avoided truths. You notice your terror of abandonment. You observe how desperately you seek approval from others. You acknowledge your tendency to over-give just to prevent loss. You recognize how you evade responsibility for your emotional well-being. These awakenings sting, but they are essential. The ache is not designed to destroy you. It is designed to revive you. Fated love possesses a subtle power to reshape you even in absence. Even without words, even amid total silence, an inner shift occurs. Even when reason urges you to forget, even when contact has vanished completely, transformation quietly unfolds. You grow more conscious of your patterns. You become more selective about who earns access to your heart. You grow braver in expressing your emotions and enforcing your limits. Behaviors you once tolerated now feel intolerable. Dynamics you endured now feel exhausting. People you once pursued lose their pull. You start craving substance over fleeting validation. You hunger for authentic intimacy over temporary relief. Frequently you fail to connect this evolution directly to that one person. Yet the shift ignited the instant they crossed your path. They served as catalyst. They launched an internal process. This kind of bond does not breed fixation. It breeds introspection. You do not lose hours obsessing over them. Instead, you examine your existence, your habits, your decisions. You ponder who you have been and who you are becoming. You pose harder questions. Why do I approach love this way? Why do I dread true closeness? Why do I accept less than my worth demands? These inquiries gradually reforge you. Fated connections operate beneath the surface in ways most never notice. They may vanish from everyday life, but their imprint endures. They alter how you perceive relationships. They alter how you perceive yourself. They elevate your expectations, not only for partners, but for your own conduct and dignity. They demonstrate that love extends beyond union. It also demands personal completeness. Over months or years you realize you refuse to recycle destructive patterns. You stop pursuing emotionally unavailable people. You stop overlooking warning signs simply to feel wanted. You begin prizing tranquility, authenticity, and reciprocal investment. This maturation feels organic even though pain sparked it. And that organic quality confirms the connection held real weight. Fated love rarely announces itself loudly. It does not always linger. Sometimes it arrives, reshapes you, and departs. Sometimes it departs precisely so you can mature into someone capable of sustaining genuine love. Whether reunion occurs or not is seldom the central point. The mission was evolution, awakening redirection toward a more intentional way of existing and loving. When two people are truly meant for each other, their journey never travels a straight path. It wins through separation, uncertainty, and solitary inner labor. It demands growth before convergence. And that recurring pattern is the one thing that always appears. You remember them during quiet moments of self-discovery, during periods when silent transformation reshapes you from within, during still nights when the world hushes and your thoughts grow deafening. You remember them amid sudden emotional revelations that strike without invitation. Moments when fresh understanding about yourself dawns unexpectedly. You are not remembering them from loneliness. You are not remembering them for validation or attention. You remember them because a deeper part of you senses the connection carried significance, and that significance has not yet fully settled. Your soul acknowledges unfinished teachings. It acknowledges that something vital was stirred by that bond. This is not frailty. This is not fixation. And this is not clinging in the usual sense. This is assimilation. It is your inner landscape attempting to position the experience correctly, to integrate its lessons and to comprehend how it altered you forever. A fated bond does not fade merely because time accumulates. It lingers in subtle forms. It resurfaces during growth. It resurfaces during healing. It resurfaces when you shed outdated versions of yourself. That happens because the connection was never solely romantic. It was fundamentally about metamorphosis. Many wonder why such a bond resists replacement. They attempt to substitute it. They date others. They enter fresh relationships. They fill their days with noise, tasks, and distractions. They persuade themselves that progress equals erasure. Sometimes they even convince themselves they have succeeded. Daily life resumes its rhythm. They smile. They connect. They advance. Yet beneath everything a faint hollowness persists. Not because the new person lacks kindness, not because the new bond lacks commitment. The emptiness lingers because the new connection fails to stir the same soul depth. It fails to confront the same inner terrain. A fated bond does not rival others. It exists on an entirely separate plane. This kind of connection transcends physical attraction. It transcends thrill or compatibility. It transcends ease or familiarity. It centers on development. It centers on unflinching self-honesty. It centers on being compelled to confront neglected aspects of your being for years. Destiny sculpts both individuals independently before ever considering reunion. Distance is never vengeance. It is instruction. While apart, existence molds you through contrasting challenges, frequently via discomfort. One learns healthy limits. They master refusing without shame. They master refusing to overextend without reciprocity. They master that genuine love never requires self-erasure. They master that self-prioritization is not selfish, it is vital. The other learns ownership. They learn silence inflicts wounds. They learn suppressing feelings does not eliminate them. They learn actions carry weight even when motives remain murky. They learn connection demands accountability. One cultivates dignity. They cease equating inconsistency with passion. They cease awaiting resolution that never materializes. They grasp that reliability matters. The other cultivates emotional bravery. They learn remaining present with unease instead of fleeing. They learn embracing exposure instead of evasion. One learns to release pursuit. They see love cannot be coerced. They see chasing an unready person only breeds imbalance and suffering. The other learns to cease escape. They see distance never shields from grief. It merely postpones maturation. Both evolve yet neither perceives the complete design yet. This opacity is deliberate. Premature clarity would halt progress. Mystery preserves room for genuine change. Before fated souls can realign, must collapse. The universe dismantles false convictions gradually, often painfully. Convictions such as love should never demand effort. Convictions such as genuine care guarantees permanence. Convictions such as love must be purchased through hardship. Convictions such as another soul completes you. These notions feel comforting yet sabotage authentic love. They breed reliance. They breed anxiety. They breed expectations no human can satisfy. So existence removes them. This removal rarely feels tender. It arrives through quiet, through absence, through letdown, through solitary hours spent facing your own mind. You begin seeing yourself without filters. You begin spotting recurring cycles. You begin understanding past moments when you betrayed your own needs. You learn love was never designed to rescue you. You learn no partner can occupy voids you refuse to address. You learn authentic union springs from completeness, never from lack. Eventually a shift occurs within. You cease needing their return. You cease scanning for signals. You cease waiting for contact to restore wholeness. You cease believing their presence equals completion, and that shift brings no resentment. It brings serenity. This is when destiny quietly resumes motion, not from striving but from release. Authentic love is never dependency, it is deliberate choice. When both can stand independently, when love shifts from necessity to preference, harmony becomes possible. If they reappear transformed. They reappear more conscious. They reappear equipped for greater depth than before. And if they never return, the teaching endures. You no longer resemble the person who first entered the bond. You stand firmer, clearer, more centered. You have absorbed what needed absorption. That is the essence of fated connections. They concern evolution, never ownership. They enter your life not to remain static forever, but to rouse you, reshape you and steer you toward richer comprehension of love, dignity, and personal expansion. When individuals truly intended for one another reconnect, the atmosphere feels subtly altered. It lacks drama or fanfare. It demands no spotlight. Instead, it feels grounded. Your nervous system settles before your thoughts catch up. Tension in your mind eases, fear of collapse fades, and ego no longer scrambles to defend or impress. You stop performing. You stop shielding. What emerges is unguarded sincerity, the kind that flows effortlessly, needing neither justification nor armor. The bond feels steadier because both have already weathered personal storms. It feels richer because both have confronted their darkness alone. It feels sharper because fantasies have already shattered. It remains imperfect and never claims perfection, yet it carries awareness. Words land thoughtfully. Silence receives respect. Boundaries earn honor. No manipulation unfolds. No ulterior motives hide. No tests gauge affection. No ambiguity clouds your position. Like rediscovering a timeless truth, this time fortified by wisdom and resilience. And sometimes, despite everything, those individuals never reunite. This truth cuts deepest, yet the fate binding them remained authentic. The bond was never illusion. It was never error. It was never squandered. Not every fated connection intends permanence. Some exist solely to catalyze change. Some arrive to fracture your inner landscape, fulfill their role and exit once transformation completes. Certain bonds break generational cycles. They expose inherited patterns you absorbed before conscious choice existed. They unveil where love merged with martyrdom. where clinging masqueraded as security, where quietness masqueraded as harmony. They compel you to release burdens you never owned. They surface suppressed grief so it can heal rather than echo. Others teach self-regard after years of neglect. They reflect how you permit mistreatment. Through them you witness where you diminish, where you compromise, where you sacrifice your essence to retain closeness. They awaken you to the reality that love must never demand your honor, your voice, or your identity. These teachings wound deeply yet prove indispensable. Without them you might have continued overextending and under-requesting indefinitely. Some fated souls unlock buried emotional capacity. They revive sensations you had deadened. They prove your ability to feel profoundly, to risk openness, to forge real intimacy. Even departure leaves you more receptive than before. Others redirect your entire trajectory. Encountering them reshapes decisions, standards, and destinations. They depart because their purpose never included staying. Their purpose involved readying you for whatever follows. That does not diminish their value. It elevates them to sacred status. Sacred encounters need not endure eternally. Their power lies in what they ignite within, not in duration. Countless ask why destiny inflicts severity before tenderness, why it removes before bestowing. The answer is simple: destiny never prioritizes comfort. Comfort anchors you in familiar yet harmful loops. Destiny safeguards your highest possibility. It permits heartbreak to prevent soul loss. It removes people before you erase yourself, preserving them. In the thick of pain it feels merciless. You dissect every interaction. You doubt your value. You agonize over alternate choices. You feel forsaken by something you trusted. Yet time gradually unveils what suffering obscured. Distance reveals how remaining would have imprisoned you in an outdated self. Distance reveals how departure compelled growth you once resisted. One truth surfaces repeatedly across fated bonds. When two people are authentically meant to unite, they must first mature apart. Separation strips illusions. It dismantles romanticized notions of love, of each other, of self. It forces confrontation with wounds, fears, destructive patterns, and avoidance of personal healing. This phase is never retribution, it is cultivation. It is never penalty for prior errors, excesses, or deficiencies in love. It is a consecrated pause, an intentional clearing created by existence itself, where the cosmos patiently refines you. During this interval, each person is purified like metal in fire, into a truer, healthier iteration of who they always carried potential to become. Here lessons arrive that cannot be hurried or borrowed. You master boundaries not as barriers against others, but as guardians of your vitality and worth. You master dignity that flows from inner knowing rather than external approval. You master loving intensely, authentically, wholly, without dissolving your own essence. You master that being selected by another holds no meaning until you first select yourself, and that completeness arises internally, never from another's embrace. Only after this interior refinement does destiny disclose the subsequent chapter. Sometimes the chapter circles back to reunion, two souls meeting with cleared vision and sturdier foundations. Sometimes it guides toward new horizons that align more naturally with evolved selves. Either direction leaves no one untouched. Something fundamental relocates within. Quiet initially, yet seismic over seasons. The self you carried into this experience will never fully return. If these words stir memory of someone special, allow them to rest gently inside you like soft rainfall. You need not pursue, manipulate, or demonstrate anything, and destiny never depletes you. It never requires self-diminishment, integrity compromise, or perpetual unease. What truly belongs to you arrives without chaos or dread. It feels secure, instinctive, correct, even in its quiet simplicity. It never prompts doubt about your worth. It never demands silence or acceptance of less. It requests only evolution, truthfulness, and bravery, the kind born from fully encountering yourself, even when uncomfortable. And should that person never return, do not label it defeat. Do not gauge your heart's value solely by permanence or proximity. The bond never measured endurance, it served as mentor. It fulfilled its role, molding you, directing you, fortifying you for whatever awaits. It equipped you to recognize love not in fantasy, but in reality. Fated connections never revolve around ownership, certainty, or promises. They revolve around metamorphosis. They appear precisely when readiness exists, or precisely when readiness must be forged. They unsettle comfort to expose blind spots. They challenge outdated convictions to welcome truer ones. They may trail sorrow, yet they also deliver lucidity, wisdom, and rock-solid certainty that every instant held purpose. Nothing dissolves uselessly. No grief, no yearning, no fracture, no disillusionment lacks meaning. What registers as loss frequently unveils harmony. What registers as dismissal frequently steers you toward authenticity. What registers as closure frequently opens the threshold to profounder, more lasting union with your own being. Destiny never hurries. It never rushes explanation. It never yields to impatience. It requests patience when answers feel urgent. It requests trust when uncertainty presses hard. And looking back, you will recognize how steadily, how unyieldingly, it guided you through every ache, through every endless night. Honor that.